Fifth Avenue was shining in the sun when they left the boulevard. The sun was warm, even though it was February, and everything looked like Sunday morning. The buses and the well-dressed people walking slowly in couples and the quiet buildings with the windows closed. Michael held Frances's arm tightly as they walked towards Washington Square in the sunlight. They walked lightly, almost smiling, because they had slept late and had a good breakfast and it was Sunday. Michael unbuttoned his coat and let it flap around him in the mild wind. "Look out," Frances said as they crossed 8th Street. "You'll break your neck." Michael laughed and Frances laughed with him. "She's not so pretty," Frances said. "Anyway, not pretty enough to take a chance on breaking your neck." Michael laughed again. "How did you know I was looking at her?" Frances cocked her head to one side and smiled at her husband under the brim of her hat. "My darling," she said. "Okay," he said. "Excuse me." Frances patted his arm lightly, pulled him along a little faster towards Washington Square. "Let's not see anybody all day," she said. "Let's just hang around with each other, you and me." "What's to stop us?" Michael asked. "The Stevensons. They want us to drop by around 1 o'clock and they'll drive us into the country." "The cunning Stevensons," Mike said. "They can go driving in the country by themselves." "Is it a date?" she asked. "It's a date." Frances leaned over and kissed him on the tip of the ear. "Darling," Michael said, "this is Fifth Avenue." "Let me arrange a program," Frances said. "A planned Sunday in New York for a young couple with money to throw away." "Oh, go easy." "First, let's go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art," Frances suggested, because Michael had said during the week he wanted to go. "I haven't been there in 3 years, and there's at least 10 pictures I want to see again. Then we can take a bus down to Radio City and watch them skate, and later we'll go down to Kavanaugh's and get a steak as big as a blacksmith's apron with a bottle of wine, and after that there's a French picture at the film market. Everybody say, are you listening to me?" "Sure," he said. And he took his eyes off the hatless girl with the dark haircut dancer style who was walking past him. "Well, that's the program for the day," Frances said flatly. "Or maybe you'd rather walk up and down Fifth Avenue." Oh, no," Michael said, "not at all." "You're always looking at other women. Every damn place we go." "Oh, now, darling," Michael said, "I look at everything. I mean, God gave me eyes. I look at women, men, subway excavations, and moving pictures, the little flowers of the field. I casually inspect the universe." "You want to see the look in your eyes. You casually inspect the universe on Fifth Avenue." "I'm a happily married man," Michael pressed her elbow tenderly. "Example for the whole 20th century. Mr. and Mrs. Mike Loomis. Hey, let's have a drink," he said, stopping. "We just had breakfast." "Now listen, darling, it's a nice day. We both feel good, and there's no reason why we have to break it up. Let's have a nice Sunday." "All right. I don't know why I started this. Let's drop it. Let's have a good time." So they joined hands consciously, walked without talking among the baby carriages and the old Italian men in their Sunday clothes and the young women with their Scotties in Washington Square Park. "At least once a year, everyone should go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art," Frances said after a while, her tone a good imitation of the tone she had used at breakfast and at the beginning of their walk. "Look, I want to tell you something. I've not touched another woman, not once in all of 5 years." "All right," Frances said. "You believe that, don't you?" "All right." They walked between the crowded benches under the scrubby city park trees. "I try not to notice it," Frances said. "But I feel rotten inside, in my stomach, when we pass a woman and you look at her, and I see that look in your eye, and that's the way you looked at me the first time. In Alice Maxwell's house, there I was standing in the living room next to the radio with a green hat on and all those people." "I remember that hat," Michael said. "The same look," Frances said. "And it makes me feel bad. It makes me feel terrible." "Shh, please, darling. Shh. I think I would like that drink now," Frances said. So they walked over to a bar on 8th Street, not saying anything, Michael automatically helping her over curbstones and guiding her past automobiles. They sat near a window in the bar, and the sun streamed in, and there was a small, cheerful fire in the fireplace. The little Japanese waiter came over and put down some pretzels and smiled happily at them. "Well, what do you order after breakfast?" Michael asked. "Brandy, I suppose," Francis said. "Cavassier," Michael told the waiter. "2 Cavassiers." The waiter came with the glasses, and they sat drinking the brandy in the sunlight. Michael finished half his and drank a little water. "I look at women correct. I don't say it's wrong or right. I look at them. If I pass them on the street and I don't look at it, I'm fooling you and I'm fooling myself." "You look at them as though you want them," Francis said, playing with her brandy. "Every one of them." "Well, in a way," Michael said, "in a way, that's true. I don't do anything about it, but it's true." "I know that, and that's why I feel bad." "Another brandy," Michael called. "Waiter, 2 more brandies." He sighed and closed his eyes and rubbed them gently with his fingertips. "I love the way women look. One of the things I like about New York City is the battalions of women. When I first came to New York from Ohio, that was the first thing I noticed. The million wonderful women all over the city. I walked around with my heart on my throat." "A kid," Francis said. "That's a kid's feeling." "Well, guess again," Michael said. "Guess again. I'm older now, a man getting near middle age, putting on a little fat, and I still love to walk along 5th Avenue at 3 o'clock on the east side of the street between 50th and 57th Street. They're all out there shopping in their furs and their crazy hats. Everything all concentrated from all over the world into 7 blocks. The best furs, the best clothes, the handsomest women, out to spend money and feeling good about it." The Japanese waiter put the 2 drinks down, smiling with great happiness. "Everything is all right?" he asked. "Everything's wonderful," Michael said. "Well, if it's just a couple of fur coats," Francis said, "and $45 hats." "It's not the fur coats or the hats. It's just the scenery for that particular kind of woman. Now understand, you don't have to listen to this." "No, I want to listen." "I like the girls in the offices, neat with their eyeglasses, smart, chipper, knowing what everything is about. I like the girls on 44th Street at lunchtime, the actresses all dressed up on nothing a week. I like the sales girls in the stores paying attention to you first because you're a man, leaving lady customers waiting. I got all this stuff accumulated in me because I've been thinking about it for 10 years, and now you've asked for it, and here it is." "Go ahead," Francis said. "When I think of New York City, I think of all the girls on parade in this city. I don't know whether it's something special with me or whether every man in the city walks around with the same feeling inside him, but I feel as though I'm at a picnic in this city. I like to sit near the women in the theaters, the famous beauties who've taken 6 hours to get ready and look at, and the young girls at the football games with their red cheeks. When the warm weather comes, the girls in their summer dresses." And he finished his drink. "Well, that's the story." Francis finished her drink and swallowed 2 or 3 times extra. "You say you love me. I love you." "I'm pretty too," Francis said. "As pretty as any of them. You're beautiful." "I'm good for you," Francis said, pleading. I've made a good wife, a good housekeeper, a good friend. I'd do any damn thing for you." "I know," Michael said, put his hand out and grasped hers. "But you'd like to be free to tell the truth." And she took her hand away from under his. Michael flicked the edge of his glass with his finger. "Okay," he said gently. "Sometimes I feel I would like to be free." "Well, any time you say." "Oh, don't be foolish." And Michael swung his chair around to her side of the table, patted her thigh. She began to cry silently into her handkerchief, but bent over just enough so that nobody in the bar would notice. "Someday," she said, "you're going to make a move." Michael didn't say anything. He sat watching the bartender slowly peel a lemon. "Aren't you? Come on, tell me. Aren't you?" "Maybe," Michael said. He moved his chair back again. "How the hell do I know?" "You know, don't you?" "Yes," Michael said. I know. Frances stopped crying then. 2 or 3 snuffles into the handkerchief, and she put it away, and her face didn't tell anything to anybody. At least do me one favor, she said. Sure. Stop talking about how pretty this woman is or that one. Nice eyes, nice breasts, a pretty figure, good voice. She mimicked his voice. Keep it to yourself. I am not interested. Michael waved to the waiter. I'll keep it to myself, he said. Frances flicked the corners of her eyes. Another brandy, she told the waiter. 2, Michael said. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir, said the waiter, backing away. Frances regarded Michael coolly across the table. Do you want me to call the Stevensons? It'll be nice in the country. Sure, Michael said. Call. She got up from the table and walked across the room toward the telephone. Michael watched her walk, thinking, what a pretty gal. What nice legs.